Welcome, everyone. I am so glad you are here today because I get to share with you these hidden gems, places in Accra that you may or may not have heard about, but that are so totally worth your time, and they are so awesome and definitely worth a visit if you can fit them in when you visit Ghana. The first place on the list is Ghana's National Mosque. It is an absolutely gorgeous building. But what's even more special about it is that they allow non-Muslims inside the mosque. And that's rare. Most mosques do not do that. So it was really a major treat to be able to go inside of this mosque. One of the reasons I don't think it's on the main tourist track is that while construction started in 2012, it wasn't finished until and opened until 2021. And so it really hasn't been available for very long. The mosque was a gift from Turkey, and it is done in sort of a neo-Ottoman style, but it is a replica of the famous Blue Mosque. And as you can see, inside and out, it is absolutely gorgeous. The first thing you need to know is that you will be asked to remove your shoes before entering the interior prayer areas of the mosque. So whatever footwear you choose, make sure it's easy to slide on and off. Number two, there are no Western style toilets at the mosque, so take care of things beforehand if you're not comfortable using a squat toilet. Number three is to help out your drivers is that the entrance for the mosque, if they aren't familiar with it, is behind it. So while you see the big beautiful building from the main road, you have to get down and around and behind it to get to the main gate. And speaking of the main gate, number four is when you arrive, tell the security guy that you want to do a tour, and one of the security guys will give you a tour. And it's as simple as that. The tour doesn't technically cost anything, but you certainly want to tip your guide. And the last thing is for the women, expect to be asked to cover your hair. Now, if you have your own scarf, that's great. They may offer you one. I showed up like this, and they were completely fine with my hat covering my hair, but my hair is very short. But they didn't say anything about it. It was fine. But be prepared to cover your hair as just out of respect. I highly recommend visiting the National Mosque because honestly, being able to enter this big, beautiful mosque and see it all up close and the grandeur of it, it was really one of my highlights when I visited Accra. Next up is the Aburi Botanical Gardens. Now you might have heard of Aburi and the gardens, and they always promote it as it's a nice way to escape the heat, and it's a pretty day out of Accra, and it is. But I'm here to tell you that Aburi is more than just a nice little escape to beat the heat and the hustle and bustle of Accra. Aburi is really an awesome place to go. Aburi was actually the first place I ever rode a trotro, was getting up to Aburi. And I actually decided to do that again. So I did that in 2003, and honestly, going up the mountain, because you're going up this curvy mountain, and back then, they packed the trotros tighter then. I'd swear there were 16 people in the minivan. And you know, the driving was, I'll call it a little more eccentric, but I took a trotro, and it was fun. If you have a chance to take a trotro up to Aburi or anywhere in Accra, there's a million chances to take trotros in Accra. But that's another story. The funniest thing was, and I don't remember this from 20 years ago, I remember it dropping us off right at the entrance. And I'm not sure things didn't get a little remodeled in the last 20 years. But it actually dropped me at a filling station that was at the base of a hill. And they're like, oh, yeah, here. And then it's walking distance. Oh, yeah, just go on up there. It's walking distance. I looked at it on Google, and it was, it was hot, and I still had a whole botanical garden to walk around. And so I said, 23-minute walk? Wow, that's significant. That's not just walking distance. I bailed out, and I said, taxi! So I got a taxi to take me up the hill. And so this young gentleman named Martin ended up as my guide. He is still studying to be the full-on guide at the Botanical Gardens, but he knew everything he needed to know. He was absolutely great. One of the first things they show you is this really cool, I'd say it's a hollowed out tree, but it's not. It's actually like this parasite plant, because what it does is it grows up around the tree, but then it ends up choking it and killing it. And so the tree dies inside, and you're left with this hollow ficus parasite thing, and it stands as if it were the tree, but it's not. You get to climb inside of it, take a good look around, and it's just fun to be able to be interactive with the plant, and to think that there was a tree there at one point in time. It was just a fun experience. Then you walk around and, he had me taste something, and I'll admit that was icky, but it was something they used to cure malaria. And then we went to the spice garden, and he had me smell all these different spices and things from the different trees, and it was really fantastic. And I loved the interactive nature of this tour. And then there's this tree that this artist did, and every branch of it means something different. There's a story behind every branch. And Aburi Botanical Gardens is a great place to go. It doesn't have to be, oh, I need an escape from Accra. It is just great to go there. I highly recommend it. Those of you who have been watching me for a while know I like to explore places on my own. And I'll go into a neighborhood, a town, wherever, and I don't mind walking around on my own. I don't mind getting stared at. And, I just enjoy discovering that way. I enjoy discovering things very naturally. The next thing I did, though, you might think is out of character for me, but I went on a Jamestown walking tour. Now, you can certainly go to Jamestown, and you can go to the bars and the cafes and the art galleries and all that on your own, and that's no problem. And that's not what this tour is about. The Jamestown walking tour is all about showing you places that you are not going to find as a tourist, that you are not going to just stumble into. You might stumble into one of them, but you're not going to get this whole rich experience with the history and everything there is to see there. This is one of those places where having a local with you is very, very helpful. You'll not only visit the boxing center and a local bar to try local drink, you'll meet the people who live and work there. And it is just, as I say, it's an exceptional tour because it's one of the few times I felt like, yeah, I couldn't have done this on my own. So I highly recommend taking the Jamestown walking tour. It is something that happens on Saturdays at 2 o'clock, and I will give you the website. You do want to call or text ahead and let them know you're coming. And if you cannot make Saturday at 2 o'clock, you can arrange a private tour with them. Just give them a call. Okay, so the next places I have to share with you are a combo because they're close to each other. The first place in this Accra tourism power combo is the Lagan Botanical Garden. I know, not another botanical garden. Oh gosh, too many. She's just going crazy with these botanical gardens, right? That's what you're thinking, right? No, this one is entirely different. One, it is within the city. There's no trotro ride up a mountain or anything like that. And it is a whole different experience. It is not like manicured gardens and that sort of thing. Now, there is a lake in the center. I didn't get to see the lake because part of it was under maintenance and construction when I was there, but there's a lake, and I think you're going to be able to do fishing. But they have a rope canopy walkway going through the trees, and it's not like grand like the Kakum one, but it's fun. It's a nice fun little canopy walkway. But they also have a rope course, which is a challenge thing, sort of an obstacle course kind of thing. And there are various activities that you can do while you're at the park. So you can have a quiet afternoon in the park, or you can go adventuring in the park. It's a nice park, and if you're on that side of town and you need a little break, it is definitely worth your time. Or if you're looking for adventure, or if you have kids and you want to give them something to do, this would be a good place to take them. There is an entrance fee of 20 cedis, and that's a little less than $2. And then the various activities have prices on them, but if you do nothing else, you just pay the 20 cedis to get in. And then after you've had this nice peaceful time at the botanical gardens, or the fun adventuresome time, then just 10 minutes away, a 10-minute ride away, is the Medina Market. Now, I'm going to be doing a big thing on Accra and all the big tourist sites, but I went to like 3 beaches and 3 malls and 3 local markets. And out of the 3 local markets I went to, Medina was my favorite. There are a few things I really like about Medina Market. One, it's about the size of a city block, and that makes it manageable. It's big, it's active, it's fun, but it's manageable. So it's not too intimidating if you're new to markets, but it still feels like this great adventure. The other thing I like is that while there's a bunch of produce and a bunch of local products that you may or may not be interested in, there are quite a few things that you might find helpful. One, if you've been buying a bunch of souvenirs, you might need an extra piece of luggage to take everything home with you. There's definitely a few places to buy extra backpacks or small suitcases or anything you need in that category. Plus, there are a number of fabric sellers, my favorite. There are a number of fabric sellers in the market, so you have plenty to look at. And the other thing I really like about Medina Market is, honestly, the people are just really friendly. And it's not that they're not friendly at the other markets, but in Medina Market, they have time to talk to you, and they will talk to you, and they'll ask you questions. And they're not always just trying to sell you something. They're happy to have a conversation. And so I got into some really interesting and fun conversations with people while I was wandering through Medina Market. And I think it's a great market experience. Whether you're new at markets or whether you love markets, I think it's that great in-between, kind of satisfies everybody. But go in, have fun. It's my favorite market in Accra. If you can weave these hidden gems into your itinerary while you're in Accra, I think you are just going to add some nice layers and textures to your experience here and make it even better. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.